the generation, I don't know, but I just thinking.
All right, welcome to another one of it. Welcome to the Youth Cool.
I would say I'm comfortable where I'm at. I mean, there's always need room for more. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, would you like to be rich? Would you like to be rich? All right, welcome to another one of it. Welcome to the Youth Code. And in today's episode, it's entitled Money Moves Part 1. As we talk with the generation, the idea behind the Youth Code is to get feedback from the generations concerning their perspective, their ideas on various topics. And today we're going to talk about money. It's a topic that we believe in many instances is not, it's a conversation that's not had enough sometimes in the home. But we want to get an idea from the generation as to what they know, what they have experienced, what they had to learn concerning this very, very vital resource in our lives. Yeah. So this evening I have two wonderful individuals with me. I have Miss Shamaya Romeo and Mr. Angelo Marcel. Let me bring them in and we could welcome them one time. So again, welcome Shamaya, welcome Angelo. So glad to have you all on the inside with me this evening. How are you guys doing?
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be
Thanks
here.
for joining us. Yes.
Nice man. And so today's topic is a topic I personally believe is, I know for me, I never really had this conversation growing up with my family. We knew that money was something important because we needed it to do a lot of things, but it's not a conversation that we had. So, we want to kind of explore some of those various aspects about the topic. So, but before we go into that, let me ask you all a question. I want to start with you first, Angelo. Angelo, are you rich?
Yeah.
Are you...
Hell no.
Would you like to be rich?
Like that, and that's gonna make
yeah.
Yeah.
Would you like to be rich? Would you like to be rich?
I would say I'm comfortable where I'm at. I mean, there's always need room for more. You know what I mean? But yeah, I can't say I want thing.
All right. Okay. So you don't mind being in that place?
Of course. Yeah. Money makes things some things a little easier.
Yeah. What about you, Shamaya? Would you like to be rich? Yes.
I would like to be rich, yes, but not rich as in, like luxurious rich. More like rich where I could do anything and I don't have to worry about, oh gosh, I have money to do this, I have money to do that,
Right. A level of satisfaction. You can live and not be too worried. Yeah. What do you all think? Do you think money really helps with bringing some form of comfort to our lives?
Yeah. I agree with that. Because,
Yeah, go ahead, Shamaya.
Because, well, with my parents and even the way my mother grew up, explaining some of the privileges that she didn't even have, as in walking to school, some of the clothes they had, well, her family, the things that they would have had to do to eat food, is like, okay, well, that's very uncomfortable to grow up in. And even me growing up now, well, I was very fortunate to have a comfortable childhood, but it have some instances where mommy wouldn't be mentally comfortable, where she would be doing something, but she would pay for something for me, but then she would have the stress of, okay, how am I going to pay for this bill, or how am I going to afford this, or the groceries,
Right, yeah. So that kind of brings a type of a strain on the mind and the emotions as well. As well. Where would you have probably gotten your first set of information about money in terms of actually understanding the value and the importance of money?
Funny enough, I did accounting at secondary school and I still didn't understand what money was. I think I started to understand when I left Trinidad, probably at age, I think it was 18, to go to school in Barbados.
Right.
And I didn't have the comfort of your family around to ask for $100 if you're wanting,
Yeah.
So it was when I was kind of independent that I realized, well, I can't really spend everything that I'm getting, so I decided to get a job while I was working and kind of balance to ease up the family that I have there, so I don't put the kind of pressure. Then when I realized, well, I need to make a little more, or I was flipping. When I was going to school, I was buying brands and I would wear it for a week, and then when somebody liked it, I would sell it to them, go back and buy something else, and that, so then I kind of get an understanding of what investing was because I was forced into the situation. Somewhat.
Oh, okay. But then you can't really recall saying that there was a conversation about it.
No, it was no conversation.
No
There was no
conversation.
conversation. No. Our family was not
Okay.
family of business. At least not in my generation.
Okay.
Later on, as I got older, the cousins, they started to get into business, and we started to have that conversation when I started to hit like my late 20s and stuff. We started to talk business, and other family members were moving away from academics and more going into business.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Shamaya? Is that a conversation you've ever heard or had? I know you're young, but could you remember or what would have been some of the things that you would have heard about money in your home while growing up?
Well, when I was in high school, often would have been told to save. Saving. It's important to save money, even if it's only $20 again a day. At least save $5. But I didn't understand. Okay, why was I saving all this money for? Only when I started to work, and I had to pay for passage and I had to pay for food. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to live?
Right.
Because it's impossible to live. Is it possible to not live paycheck to paycheck? That's what I used to think. Like, because I can't do this. But I watching some YouTube videos actually. How to save money, how to manage your salary. That's actually what I use to learn more about money and how to get somewhere financially instead of living in the same cycle every week or every month.
Yeah, most people make that mistake, that as the income increase, the expenses increase too, and not increasing where you're investing. You know what I mean? Always in things.
But Angelo, you said something interesting there. You said that that's one of the first, mistakes that people make. When did you realize that was actually issue, right? That the mindset that is. When did you realize that would have been an issue for you? I don't know if you had the experience, if you started seeing persons, encounter that.
It wasn't a main issue, but there were periods where I would spend money incorrectly. Maybe that way I would splurge or have impulse buying. I mean, we all have impulse buying somewhere along the line. More women than men do, because I different. I would watch something for 5 months before I buy, depending.
Right.
I make sure I get more money. I was always I would have those instances where I have a splurge buy, but a lot of times I personally have watched something for a long time before I purchase. It could be a pants or shoes. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Also, so it's not even like an investment, something. It's just a matter of an item that you have some sort of interest.
Funny enough, when it comes to investment, I might quicker jump at it a little faster.
Okay.
Because more often than not, I would already have an idea in my head what I think, what ideas or projects I might be thinking about, and then if it come along, I might quicker jump in, or I might get the person to look at it a different way, and that way I might quicker jump at it because I already know in my head now. Splurge buying. Yeah, that kind of emotional thing where, of course, but that part, you know what I mean?
But Shamaya, this question, on the same line, I know that you said that you started learning about, your finances from YouTube. Have you seen that help you in terms of your knowledge about money, the way that you treat with money, and what you actually do with your money? Did you see any type of benefit by taking time to learn?
Yeah. So far it was I mean, even though I know about money, I still find the challenges to not overspend in some areas. But I think it helped me to view money more as a tool.
Okay.
Other than something that I need to keep. Because I always thought that. Because
interesting. Tell me more about that perspective, with money being a tool rather than something to keep.
Well, I was always taught to save the money, right? Saving money.
Right.
But then I really had a reason to save. Like, I don't know what I'm saving for. So I thought, I can't always spend all my money. I need to always keep some. But I really didn't know what I was keeping it for. And, it's only when I started to watch the YouTube videos and talk to people, it was like, well, we use money as exchange. It's just to exchange money for something else.
Okay.
So everything is just worth, well, the tool to get what you want is just the money.
Okay.
It's not always about keeping everything. So that's all about investing. So like with investing, you can't keep all the money in your savings account and be investing it.
Right.
So you need to kind of give to get back.
And any decision that you've made, Angelo, that really affected your finances, whether negatively or positively, any decision that you've made that actually had an almost direct impact on your
yeah, all the time, because I mean, since I've known myself, I always like business, whether it's a small business. I don't have an extremely large business, but I always have a business, whether it's small.
Okay.
Right? I always have something on the side running.
Right. Okay.
And once you're in business, there's a risk, and you have risk of losing and making. Sometimes you make good decisions, sometimes you make bad. Sometimes it's a very small financial cost. Sometimes it can hit you very, very deep, and send you into debt quickly. And yeah, it happened to me already, and I think most businessmen it would have happened to once you invest in all the time. It's a risk. It's a calculated risk most of the time. It's an educated risk, but it's still a risk nonetheless,
Yeah.
And once you're taking that risk, you could lose,
Yeah. Have you ever regretted any of those decisions you've ever made? Like,
I'll always regret losing money.
Right.
Right. But I know this part of the process, so you can't really just learn from it and you move on. I mean, there aren't many businessmen who aren't in debt. They're just part of business.
Okay. Do you all think, right? We go to school, we learn to read, we learn to write. Do you all think that financial literacy, actually understanding money, is something that should be at least introduced in schools? What do you think, Shemaya? I know you would have kind of recently come out of school. Let me get your first perspective before I go to Angela. What do you think?
I think it should definitely be introduced in school, if not at least a topic, because in business class at least.
Yeah.
Because I did POV and POA business subjects for CSEC, and I mean, I didn't know much more about money than when I started. So I mean, I guess we don't really have anything concerning financial literacy in school in general, because up to today I wouldn't even say I am financially literate.
Literate, right?
Yeah,
okay. At what age, Angelo, do you think that we probably should be introduced to the whole knowledge of money and finance?
As young as the Asians children do it.
That's only like 4 and 5 years old,
Exactly.
And them different.
Exactly. Because when you go to the shops, to the stores, or the restaurants, you see them working.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
So they're being introduced to money and business. So and in other continents, you will see while some of our students struggling, we're not struggling, but some struggle with getting 4 A levels. Some of them 7 and 8 and 3 languages. So it's impossible. It's just we need to put people in the right mindset to get it accomplished, But it will take some time. So, but it's possible.
In terms of knowing certain things, but that's not simply applying.
Well, that's part of the problem. How would you know how good you are at something unless you try it?
Yeah.
You know many businesses I feel? A lot. Until I eventually find one that I say, yes, this is
this
it.
One.
And started push. Yeah, a lot. I was doing trading. It's so many different things. And then you eventually find one that you say, all right, this is it. You find a niche market. You might even find a monopoly if you're lucky, if you really think and if you look good, very, very good. You might find a monopoly. And sometimes you don't have to change the wheel,
Right.
Look at how many people selling clothes. Look at how many people selling clothes.
True.
But that most of them been in business for years.
Do you see that mindset in a lot of young people, or in terms of their interest of wanting to have their own?
Yeah, definitely. I have a young man. I met him probably about 10 years ago. A guy called Aston Isaac, one of the most brilliant young minds I've ever met. This guy is so knowledgeable, And I got a lot of my inspiration from him, because once he sees something, he going after it, and he accomplishing it within a very short space of time. You may not do that because
Right.
he's thinking, he working
Yeah.
math in his head, he done work out with the logistics, everything in his head, and he going, and you not seeing it. I'm like, what are we doing this?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
oh, sometimes I see him. He will say, Angelo, just go. Don't wait, don't make no phone call. Just go down there, start to talk to people, and it will happen. And I've seen it happen when they just
Okay.
go. You know,
Right.
you just have to move forward with it. Yeah. Brave.
I feel
But
a lot of
estimated
young.
risk.
Yeah, I think a lot of young people, especially today, especially if they have that mindset that they want to own their time, that a lot of them are interested in trying to find, and Shemaya made mention of it a little earlier, and she talked about passion, following your passion. And will just want us to just touch on in a little bit, right, Shemaya? But I think a lot of young people are really interested in not just simply allowing their time just to be used to just get money, but they want to have a sense of satisfaction. Like, I'm doing something that I really enjoy. And because I hear the other side of the argument, where they say a lot of young people just want money, they want to work. But I feel that one of the issues in there is that it's not, I mean, we probably do have some of them like that, but I feel that some of them just want to find something that they're really, really interested and that engages them, so that the daytime, the period that they want to spend behind it is worthwhile. So whatever they get financially, yes, that does compensate for whatever, but at the end of the day, there's a sense of satisfaction as well that is in whatever it is they're doing. And I think that is something significant.
But noticing, realizing now, even though I would like to be self-employed, well, be in charge of my time, even working has taught me a lot, I would say. So even though I want to be an entrepreneur eventually, I think this is very important for when I become an entrepreneur, because I'm a
I could ask you something. You're married or have children yet?
No.
Well, now is the time to make them moves.
Yeah. Yep.
Now is the time to make them moves. How much bills you have? You have plenty bills?
No.
No.
Yeah. You have a lot available.
Now is the time to take the risk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, but I mean, now is a good time to take the risk. But I'm glad that, glad that I know these things. I know a few things, I'm not going in blind.
Right,
this is my very first time. I'm not completely dry. I dip my toes in the water a little bit. So I kind of know what we get myself into.
But I wanna shift gear a little bit and talk about now this is something I have seen. I have seen so many different ideas about it, and this is budgeting and budget. Do any of you all actually, like, you use a budget for yourself? Like, it's something that you actually operate by? Yeah, Angelo, right? What about you, Shemaya?
I try.
Yeah, you try. Yeah. And Angelo, tell me what is the importance of, because you definitely sound like this is something that you see as very, very important. What is the significance of operating or living by a budget?
Well, as one famous Socrates say, balance. Ain't you do accounting, Shemaya? And you know about balance sheets and that kind of stuff.
Yes.
That's why you run a business, you run your personal income the same way.
Right.
And most people end up in the problems because they want things more than let's say comfort to some extent. They have $5,000 and want to spend $6,000. You can't do that. They will end up in problems, especially if you're not investing in a business. You will end up in problems. So you just let's live within your means. You know what I mean? Live within your means. It sounds simple, but it's not just
a lot of people struggle with it. Yeah,
because you want things. If they want things, then get into business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They want things quicker, but it will also come at a sacrifice. It may not. I may have to do without for a while.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't understand that. And in terms of
have to.
But because we have a generation that is very much inclined to instant gratification, how do you see that being a challenge? That's the very idea of even probably managing their money through the system of a budget. Because I look at reports sometimes, in the US, and I'm oftentimes very surprised when you hear people max out 5 and 10 credit cards in the US. I'm like, but how was it? In Trinidad, sometimes you get one
Money.
here and you ain't getting,
Money.
you can't get another one, but them maxing out 5 and 10. Like, how is that
Yeah,
even
'cause they want
possible?
you in debt. They want you in debt. But you're not
Ah,
gain. You're not. It's just liabilities you're creating. You're not
right.
creating any kind of revenues at all. So
So Maya, you
I
said
mean,
that you try.
mhm.
What's your greatest challenge with budgeting?
um, staying within the budget. Be-
Mhm.
Because I say, okay, only $200 for this, but sometimes for me actually, it's because I don't really have uh, much experience buying things yet outside. So if I I say, well, for me,
Mhm.
because I'm not accustomed like going to the grocery and buying stuff. If I make a budget to go to the
Yeah.
grocery, it might be most likely it will be more
Mhm.
because I'm not accustomed with the prices and how to average.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's the hardest part for me, averaging how much things could be because I feel like my budget isn't realistic. It's like ideal, but it's not
Right.
realistic because things are expensive.
Right. Right.
Things are expensive. So maybe the budget that I have, I would be thinking, oh yeah, I could save more than half of my salary. But the truth
Mhm.
is, with the necessities, I can't.
Right.
You know? So
So
that's it.
is it something, Angelo, that you feel like in some cases people need to revisit what they would term as being necessary sometimes?
yeah, the needs and the wants. Yeah, the needs and the
Mhm.
wants. Because I always ask a question. People this right. I
Yeah.
say my grandparents on my father's side had 18 children. Right.
Hmm.
18 children.
Right.
Nobody never went to school. Some of them would have left early. They left
Right.
early to support the family. Right. All of
Right.
them did well. There was never a day where they never had a meal.
Right.
So how is it they were able to support 18 children, right? Let's say half would have gone on, and then, but when children get older, the older ones mind the younger ones when they
Yeah,
start
the
growing
younger
up.
ones. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's say out of
Mhm.
the 18, 10, you have to
Yeah.
mind 10. How were they able to do that with less money? And you have to ask yourself
Mhm.
why. And the question is why? Because we prioritize a lot of nonsense. You know,
Right.
just look at your listed expenses, and you realize a lot of the things you could do without. Whether it's having
Mhm.
lunch every day,
Yeah.
whether it's splurging on entertainment unnecessarily, and entertainment can be very expensive, whether it's
Yeah.
buying an extra shoes that you don't really need at this point in
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
When you could have used that, let's say $500 or $600 to buy the shoes, and you could have buy $100 ad on Facebook to promote your business and get back
Okay.
$200
Okay.
for that 100.
Okay. Okay.
So it all depends on
Mhm.
where priority is or are.
Right.
So if you want to
But
continue spending on liabilities, then you will never see a business make it because you're spending on splurges, on
right.
unnecessary stuff.
Yeah, that's an important point I think you made in terms
Yeah.
of really wrapping our minds around the fact that there are things in life that we don't need right now.
Yeah.
We sometimes you want to work sometimes to get to that place, something that you realize, I would like to have this as part of my life. You might want to be able to do vacations every year, but that is something that you have to work towards. You might have to do it every 2 years for now, but then you work towards actually being in a position to do it every year. But again, is that humbling mindset, which is really just saying discipline, to discipline yourself to know
Yeah.
that you don't want to put yourself in a negative situation. And most times the people that benefit are the institutions that are looking for us to live our lives like that, because
Yeah.
interest really does make big profits for a lot of business.
Yeah.
That sounds like a move towards one of the things I wanted us to get to, which is wealth creation. Um, how do we as individuals begin looking at wealth creation? I know if you want to firstly define what is wealth, and then what is the work towards actually building that place where we know that, hey, I'm very confident. Like what Shamaya was saying earlier on, she want to be able to spend money but not be worried about how much she has.
Well, you wanna go, Shamaya?
Yeah.
You wanna try?
Well, when I think about wealth, the word generational comes to mind. So when I'm thinking wealth, I'm not thinking just me alone. I'm thinking about, well, if I have children and their children, that money will be able to, that money will be like a building block for them to build upon, for
Right.
them
Okay.
to go forward. Well, with building wealth, I think it's very well. Angelo said something very similar to what I was thinking when it comes to wealth, which was you're gonna have to do without for a good while. So if you want
Right.
to build wealth, then
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I will have to do without for not, if not all, but like the majority of my life to build
Mm-hmm.
like a wealth status.
Right. Do
But
you think
that's
that
what
that's
I'm
something
thinking.
your generation is ready for, or is willing um to work towards?
Well, the generation, I don't know, but I
Right.
just thinking that I think we like the idea of being rich,
Right.
becoming wealthy, but we also
Mm-hmm.
want to look wealthy while we're becoming wealthy, and act
Right.
wealthy and live a wealthy lifestyle while we're becoming wealthy. So that's
Oh,
where the
okay.
problem
Okay.
comes in.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know well, a lot of us don't know
Mm-hmm.
how to, okay, well, we can't do this for a little while. I
Right.
can't go out for a little while.
False pride. That's what we call it. False pride.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
No,
all
no, it's
ever
a
had
very real
like
thing.
like in your
A
in your
very real
circles? Have
thing.
you ever had that conversation, Shemaya? Have you all ever like you and some of your friends like actually talk about hey, yeah, let this be a project or a object that we set for ourselves that we're gonna reach this place in this particular point. Is that a conversation that you have ever had
we
amongst
had it
yourselves?
we had it vaguely, not very
Mm-hmm.
much in depth, and
All
but
right.
we'd say, okay, well, well, we ain't buying no lunch this week. We're not buying any lunch this week
Right.
because we're
Yeah.
trying to save. Or when I go Pennywise, I'm not going to buy that extra cream, because I have
Mm-hmm.
cream already.
Right.
It's just
Right.
little things that we just wouldn't do because we
Mm-hmm.
know we don't need it, but we never had the actual conversation, as in, how we plan to get to where we want to be or how much money we want to have saved by the end of the year. We never really had those conversations.
Right.
Yeah.
What about Angela? What do you think about your
Yeah, but
generation?
and that is what I brought earlier about her brother. I said the
Yeah.
reason why you're not having those conversations because you're not around the right people.
Mm.
You have to get yourself around the right people with like minds who will be discussing. When you get yourself around people who discussing business, you will be so overwhelmed with information. It will
Right.
spark you. It will create a
Mm.
fire in you that you have to deliver. You have to get it. Like today, I was visiting a friend to get some plants. She had a mango tree for me. So when I
Yeah.
go down there now, I saw her house filled with plants. I was like, why this place feels so nice? And she was explaining that they had these plants for a long time and they let it die. And so I was telling her, I said, look, girl, try and get a farmer badge. The government have a grant. You could get this, you could get this place sparking and going. And by the
Mm-hmm.
time I got her, she was calling her mother and getting deed to get her farmer badge.
Right. Yeah. 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 Right. Okay. Okay.
So
Okay. I
that's the
get
point
you.
I'm
I
trying to
get
make.
you.
Once you get
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah. I
around
get you.
like minds, it will create
Yeah.
that fire in you that you'll realize you have to act upon it
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
You will act upon it.
Right.
Yeah. So if you don't have that fire, that means you're not around the right people.
You're right.
Now some people could do it internally,
Mm-hmm.
right? They could do it for
But
themselves.
sometimes the community is good.
Right. But sometimes
Yeah,
they need that person around it to give you a push. And if you want
Yeah.
push and you can't do it for yourself, get yourself around the right people. Go to expo or something. You will see a lot of small businesses there. Talk to them. You know what I mean?
Where are you mentally right now?
I think right now I'm at the point where um I have a vision of what I want to do and I'm willing to go after it, but
Right.
I'm not around the right people.
Okay.
So I just I in between settling and doing
Right.
it. So I'm thinking, okay, I want to do it, but what if I fail? I want to do
Yeah.
it,
Right.
but what if it doesn't work out because I'm not around anybody who it worked out for before
Right.
or who even tried to do it. So
Right.
I just I have a vision of what I want to do, but I
Right.
love to write. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think I just right now I don't think that's something viable to use, in this economy.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to
And so,
leave my job to be writing. I just saying, like, even as a side hustle, I feel like, okay, what's the point of this? Why am I doing this?
All right, let me give her a
And
story.
yeah, go ahead, Angela. I'm not gonna tell Angela. I would like
Right.
it to
Right.
drop
Let me
some
give a
gems
story about
first.
this writing thing, right? Now, I studied accounting and law for most of my life. Secondary school, tertiary education, accounting. I did it. I worked at Ambassador Hotel, my first job as an assistant accountant. I also worked at Standard Distributors as well too. And after about 2 years and something of doing accounting, I started to just dream numbers. Numbers. It was like a nightmare. I just got bored sitting down all day. And
Right.
eventually I got an opportunity. I won't go into the story before I got into the media, but I got an opportunity to get in. And initially the the pressure of the challenges then of
Right.
getting a space, finding a space at that time was I'm a new photographer.
Right.
These other experienced photographers have the corporate, they have the luck sports, the luck features, the luck cocktails. Where am I going to fit in here and make money as a freelancer? Because I was not on staff. So I
Right.
decided. So one day the editor came and she said, Angelo, just start writing. I say, but I mean, I say, write what? He said, anything in the school? I say, well, yeah. He said, you can write an essay. Well, all right, just write it. Write a review on something. And right there, I separated myself from being a photographer and started being a photojournalist. And then the opportunity started to come. So what happened is that the newspaper, instead of sending a photographer and a reporter to events, whether it's local or away, they started to send me because I am one person doing two things.
Oh, wow.
Right? So and then the envy started to come. The
Right.
envy started to come.
But guys, I want to really say thanks so much, for coming and have this conversation with me. All right. I think that it is something that, as I said when we started, it's not a conversation that we have with our children. I personally am learning to have that conversation with them. Help them to see the value of it, help them to understand what to do with it. So, do always think that you have to run and buy KFC or buy pizza or buy this new thing, or and you can find ways that you can use part of it, to get what you want, but put something one side, maybe to save, or put it towards something for down the road, and let's have them accustomed engaging with it, not being fearful of losing it, not being fearful of not having any more when they spend it, but just understanding that. And I love the terminology that Shamaya used, that it's a tool. Understand that's a tool, and what you do with the tool, you could build something with it. You could take it in to do some, to chisel here. You might take it to do something, help you get to where it is you need to get to. But understand the benefit of it, understand how to use it, and that simple little thing of financial literacy, I do definitely believe is something that I'm hoping that probably in time, it's something that we actually see getting into our educational system, because I feel that will begin to even help the way that our young people will approach life, even from their time in school. They will understand what this thing that I have here. So they get $100, then go down and buy a snack for all their friends, and when they go, they understand how to use this tool that they have in an effective way, and not just simply squander it as soon as they get it because they want to show off, which is one of the things that most people, when they get money, they first thing they want to show off.
Sure that they have money.
And I'll end with this, right? We oftentimes hear this comparison. The rich look like they don't have money, the poor trying to look like they have money.
They have money.
Yeah.
It's facts. When you look at the way that people who have money, and somebody put it this way, they said the rich will buy a BMW or a Lamborghini because they can. A poor person will buy a Lamborghini or find themselves trying to buy a BMW or whatever because they want to look rich. And those simple understandings of the way that we approach money and stuff is so significant, because it does make a big difference.